Dear friends, please subscribe yo.com and press the bell button for recent updates. Thank for watching.
Welcome students. So in this session we are going to study Unit 5 Biochemical Measurement. So the title of Unit 5 is Biochemical Measurement. So Unit 5 is mainly concentrate on the measurement of different biochemical things present in our body. Okay, so oxygen measurement, carbon dioxide measurement, then calcium, potassium, etc. These are the biochemical components that is present in our body. So we will see one by one. Let us enter into video.
U.com.
First we are going to see the blood gas analyzer and non-invasive monitoring. So blood gas analyzer, that is used to analyze the different gases present in our blood. Okay, that is used to measure the content of pH, PCO and PO2 from the blood. So two gases are commonly known, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide. So these two gases are very important thing in our body because the blood carry the oxygen to all the organs. Similarly, it will carry the carbon dioxide from all the organ to heart. So these two gases are mainly required to calibrate the instrument or analyzer to measure PO2 or PCO2. So the O2 and the CO2 is mainly used for calibrate the instrument to measure PO2 and PCO2. So these gases are used with precision regulator for flow and pressure control. Okay, so the oxygen and carbon dioxide, these two are used with precision regulator for flow and pressure control. Okay, right. See the block diagram of computation of bicarbonate. Okay, so actually this is a complex block diagram. So here the input different inputs are there. That is a BH amplifier receive the input. It also has a calibration. Okay, similarly PCO2 amplifier also having the input. That block also having calibration and slope, etc. Similarly PO2 amplifier. So these are the amplifiers that receive the input from external sensors. Okay, these all the things are combined together. Okay, then it is given to ADC. ADC convert this analog input into digital, and it is used to store, and it is also used to display. Okay, right. So this is a block that is used to measure the bicarbonate. Okay, right. Then next we are going to see the things related to the bicarbonate measurement. So two standard buffer of known BH are required for calibrate the analyzer in BH mode. So buffer in the sense that is also one of the gas that is used to calibrate the analyzer. So the input signal to the calculator is obtained from the output of pH and PCO2 amplifiers. Actually the above block receive the inputs that is obtained from output of BH or PCO2 amplifier. The outputs are adjusted by the multiplying the constant and given to adder circuit. Okay, the outputs are adjusted by multiplying the constant are given to the adder circuit. Okay, see the following block diagram. So the following block diagram has the adder. The adder consists of two inputs, one from BH amplifier and another one from PCO2 amplifier. So these two amplifier outputs are given to adder. The adder amplitude is adjusted by the potentiometer. So the pH slope adjust. See, this is a potentiometer. It is adjust the pH slope, and this is a PCO2 slope adjust. By varying the resistance value, we can adjust the slope. Then that is given to adder. This is an operational amplifier based adder. RF is a feedback resistor. Okay, then R is a resistance. Then the output of the adder is given to anti-lock converter. So the output is HCO3, that is given to ADC converter. So the ADC converter, analog to digital converter, convert this analog input into digital, and it is used to storing and displaying purpose. Okay, right. Then the output of the adder is passed to anti-lock generator circuit. Then it is passed to analog to digital converter for display. The resistance R is used to adjust the 0 at the output. So resistance is there. Actually, R is the resistance that is used to adjust the 0 in the output. Okay. The total CO2 is calculated by summing the output signal of calculator and the output of PCO2 amplifier. So the total CO2 means the total carbon dioxide that is calculated by adding the output signals of calculators and the output of PCO2 amplifier, because the carbon dioxide is present in two way, that is a PCO2 and PCO. Okay, so from this we are adding the different output signal from the calculator. Okay, so then only we can get the total CO2 level. Okay, right. Then base excess, computation of base excess. See, this is another one diagram. Here also the inputs are the pH and HCO3. Okay, these are the two inputs. The pH and HCO3 is received from different circuits. Okay, that is given to input to the this amplifier circuit, base excess circuit. So this circuit has two things. One is two different amplifier. Okay, actually it is a differential amplifier. So here R is present, here pH value is given. Similarly here HCO3 is present, here R value is present. Okay, right. Then these two amplify the difference of input signals, and it is given to adder circuit. The adder circuit adds the output of these two differential amplifier. Okay, right. Then the adder gain is adjusted by R12. R12 is used to adjust the gain of the adder. Then next is given to one potentiometer circuit. This is the potentiometer. So the amplitude of the output is adjusted by the potentiometer, that is a base excess value. Okay. Then the first stage, the output of the VH amplifier is inverted in an operational amplifier whose gain is controlled by a potentiometer. Okay. The first stage, the amplifier is the output is inverted because the input is given to inverted input terminal. Okay. Similarly, HCO3 is also given to inverted input terminal. Okay, that is inverted in operational amplifier whose gain is controlled by a potentiometer. The output of HCO3 calculator is inverted in second stage. The third stage, the summing amplifier A3 whose output is given to analog to digital converter, that gives a digital readout value. Okay, right. So the two input signals are given to this amplifier, and it is output of the amplifier is given to adder, then adder produce the final output, that is a base excess. Okay, then so these two are actually the blood gas analyzer. Okay, bicarbonate measurement. Okay, these two are blood gas analyzer. Next we are going to see the calorimeter and photometer. So calorimeter, the name, from the name onwards we can say that the meter that is operates based on the color. So measure the color concentration of substance in a solution by detecting the color light intensity passing through sample containing the substance and the reagent. Okay, so colorimeter is used to measure the color concentration of the substance in a solution by detecting color light intensity passing through the sample. So if you want to measure the, that is if you want to measure something in our urine or any other thing, okay, that is one of the liquid. Mostly in a hospital they are used to test the urine. Okay, at the time they are passing some light waves through the that urine. So some lights are absorbed, some lights are passed. Okay, so according to this we will measure the substance present in a urine. Okay, a reagent. Let us see. So measure the color, the principle of the colorimeter. Measure the color concentration of the substance in a solution by detecting color light intensity passing through the sample containing substance and reagent. So how it is operates? The principle is absorption and transmittance property of chemical substance. So some chemical substance absorbs some light or some intensity and transmit some intensity as some light. According to the absorption and transmittance property, we can find what are the substance present in a given liquid. Okay, so the optical color filter are used to detect the color wavelength of interest. So in order to find some substance in our liquid, so we need some particular colors or wavelength, right? Then only we can pass that particular wavelength light into particular liquid, so we can find the substance. For example, urine pass yellow light and absorb blue light and green light. So if it is pass yellow light means we have to summarize something present or something not, like that. Okay, so here the laser LEDs are used to produce the light source, to produce a light. So the wavelength is suitable due to the purity of monochromatic color. Yes, laser LEDs provide monochromatic color. Okay, right, monochrome color when compared to other LEDs. Okay, so that we are using laser lights. This is a setup. So initially we are having the light source. It's a light source. Light source generate the light of a different wavelength. Optical filter is used to filter the wavelength, so it allows some particular wavelength light. That light is passes through the lens. The lens convert this type of wave into parallel waveform, parallel waves, that is passed to medium 1. Here we are having the liquid and it is again passed to medium 2. So I0 is the intensity before medium 1. After the medium 1 the intensity is I1, then after that the intensity is I2. That is a transmitted light intensity is measured or observed, measured in the last stage. So here we are consider the concentration and absorption of colorimeter. The graph indicates the relation between concentration and absorption. So the absorption is increases when the concentration is also increases, and concentration increase, absorption also increase. Then so A equal to absorption equal to minus log I1 divided by I0. What is I1? That is the intensity of first stage divided by I0, intensity of the pure light. So A equal to log of 1 by T. If the path length, actually what is the path length? L is the path length, or concentration increases, the transmittance decreases. So the path length increases or concentration, the liquid concentration increases means, so the light passing through the particular substance is decreases, because concentration stop the lights. Okay, and absorption increase, so the light absorb the intensity. Okay, so this phenomenon is expressed by Beer's law. Okay, what is Beer's law? The concentration increase, then transmittance decrease, absorption increases. Absorption directly proportional to concentration, transmittance indirectly proportional to concentration. Okay, so concentration increase, the same time absorption also increase. Concentration increase, transmittance decreases. That is called Beer's law. So absorptivity related to the nature of the A, that is A equal to ACL, absorbing substance and optical wavelength, known for standard solution concentration. C is the concentration, L is the colored path length. Okay, so cavity means that is the container that has the liquid. Okay, right. Then photometer. Next we are going to see the photometer. Actually the photometer is also related to almost same as set of colorimeter concept. So here we are having the two different types. One is a flame photometer and is a spectrophotometer. You will see one by one. First one we are going to see the flame photometer. So this is a set of a flame photometer. So flame photometer, why the name flame means here we are using the flame, the light source. The light source is indicated by the gases. Okay, so gas is used to produce a light. The light is passes through the two different filter. Okay, so one filter is a reference, another one is a sample, our record sample. So after that we are having the lens. The lens convert these waves into parallel waves. Then the light is fall on the photo detector. Then photo detector detect the light and it is given to amplifier. Okay, operation amplifier based amplifier. Finally we are having the display unit. Okay, so this is the flame photometer. So they measure the color intensity of flame supported by oxygen and the specific substance. Sample emission of light is measured rather than the absorption of light. Sample emission of light is measured. Actually here the emission of light is measured rather than absorption of light. Typically used to determine the concentration of pure metals and are the sodium, potassium, lithium and calcium. So that this flame photometer is also called as sodium potassium measurement meter. Okay, right? So it is mainly used to measure the sodium, potassium, calcium and lithium. Okay, so what are the principles used here? The specific substance. So the emission of light is measured here. In previous colorimeter the absorption of light is measured, here the emission of light is measured. So in this method fine droplet of sample is aspirated into gas flame that burns a chimney, that is a light source. The known amount of lithium salt is added to the sample, okay, as a reference. Lithium salt is a reference. As a result the red light is emitted by the lithium and the yellow and violet beams are emitted due to sodium and potassium respectively. So lithium emits red light, okay, and the sodium and the potassium emits yellow light. Okay, right, yellow and violet light. These diffracted colors are made to incident on photodiodes. Photodetector circuits consist of reverse biased diode in which the current flow increases as intensity of the incident light increases. The calibration potentiometer is used to every channel. Since lithium is used as a standard reference, the output of the sodium and potassium channel are calibrated in terms of different with the known lithium. The output can be compared with the spectral illustrations. Okay, so the setup is very simple. So this is a setup. So here we are measuring what we are measuring here, light emission. Okay, emission of light is measured here. So lithium salt produce red light, sodium produce yellow light, okay, calcium produce which light, that is violet light. Okay, so according to the light produced by the or emitted by the substance, we can measure the particular thing. Okay, if the for example consider one urine. So we are take the urine in a particular container and we are keeping here in this meter, photometer. So flame is started. So the particular thing is produced red light means the urine is emit the red light means what will happen, that is lithium is present. If it is produced Yellow light means sodium is present in the liquid, like that. Likewise, we can find the substance in a sample solution. Next one is another one method, that is what is the second method? The spectrophotometer. Spectrophotometer is the next method. So in general, the name given to the group of instrument whose principle of operation is based on the fact that substance of clinical interact selectively absorb the or emit the energy, electromagnetic energy or light at a different wavelength. So most of the things we are using the light absorption or light emission. Depending on the substance being measured, the wavelength is used typically in the ultraviolet 200 to 400 nanometer, then visible light 400 to 700 nanometer, and the infrared 700 to 800 nanometer range. The spectrophotometer can be used to determine the entity of unknown substance or concentration of number of known substance. Okay. See the setup. So this is a setup here. The spectrophotometer has a different mirror that is used to reduce the size. So the light lamp is present here. Okay, the light is passing towards the mirror. The mirror reflect the light, and another reflector is there here. Okay, diffraction. That is rotation. According to the requirement, it will rotate. Then the light is again passed to mirror. Then it is passed to slit. That is a slit means the small hole. Okay, it produces a narrow beam. Then it is passed to our sample container. This is a sample container. Then after that we are having the photodetector. So here we are having the sample. Sample means if you want to test the urine, here we are keep our urine here. Okay, then the photodetector detects the light source that is transferred towards the sample. Then it is produce output. That output is given to the amplifier, operation amplifier. Operation amplifier output is given to the meter display. Here we can display the level of substance present in a given liquid or sample. Okay, right. The type of source or filter used typically determine the type of spectrophotometer. The rays of light bend around the sharp corner where the amount of blending depends on wavelength. This results in separation of light into spectrum at each line. Actually here the light is separated according to the requirement. The wavelength is separated. In spectrophotometer, the selection filter of colorimeter is replaced by a monochromator. Okay, monochromator. The monochromatic use a diffraction grating, that is G. This is a diffraction grating. This is a rotating one. Okay, G is disperse the light from the lamp. The light falls through the slit S0 into spectral components. Slit means small hole. The slit S1 is used for selecting narrow band of spectrum, which is used to measure the absorption of sample in the cavity or the container. Okay, so actually we are having the two slit, one is S1 and S2. Okay, so it is produce a very narrow beam. The light from the cavity is given to photodetector. It converts the light into electrical signal. The electrical signal is amplified by the amplifier, and output of the amplifier is given to meter, which shows the absorptions. The light absorption is varied when the wavelength is varied. Okay, and the mirror M is used to reduce the size of the instrument. Okay, if we are not using the mirror, the length of the instrument is very high. Okay, right. So this is a spectrophotometer. So by using the output of our photodetector, we can get the result of our sample. Okay, that is displayed in the meter. Next one is a filter photometer. So the colorimeter is otherwise called as filter photometer, which is used to measuring the transmittance and absorption of the solution or sample. Here it's the same as set of colorimeter. So here we are having the lamp, that is a light source, produce a light of different wavelength that is given to filter. The filter is used to filter the light source. Okay, light, it's a filter the light. The lights passing through the lens. The lens is used to convert the different direction lights into parallel waveform. Then here we are having the sensors. Okay, so this is a container. We are having the sample here, carrying the sample here. So if we are, there is a no sample, the output of the two sensor, optical sensor is same, that is given to galvanometer. Okay, right. So if you are keeping the sample, at the time we can vary the potentiometer to set the galvanometer is balanced, to set the galvanometer balance. So how long we change the resistance output by the potentiometer, that is calculated. According to the resistance we can find the substance present in a given liquid. The lamp arrangement emits a light of different wavelength. The filter F is allowed only a suitable range of wavelength. The light beam from the filter converted into parallel beam by optical lens arrangement. Okay, the light falls on the two photoelectric cells, that is a sensors, photoelectric cells. Okay, C reference and C sample. S for sample or E for reference. The reference cell is C reference and sample cell is C. Yes, without the sample, the output from both cells are same. Okay, so that is a calibration is good. When we are keeping the sample in the path of light, okay, the output of the sample cell, that is a CS, is reduced, and hence the potentiometer divides the output of C reference until the galvanometer shows the balance. The potentiometer is adjusted to get the galvanometer get 0 or to balance the galvanometer. The potentiometer can be calibrated the transmittance or absorption unit. According to the potentiometer variation, we can find the substance present in a given sample. Okay, so this is a filter photometer. Okay, so actually in a photometer we have studied the three different types: filter photometer, spectrophotometer, flame photometer. So flame photometer is also called as sodium potassium meter. Okay, so these two are very important, very easiest topic also. Okay, study well. Okay, thanks for watching. Thank you.